Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Oumaima. As you can see by the title, I've been absent from YouTube for a few months right now, and that's because I have not been reading that much. So I just stopped making videos, not intentionally. I was attempting to make reading vlogs, and most of my reading vlogs featured this book, The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This is a very thick book and it's very slow, so reading this one in a reading vlog was not really the best option. So every time I attempted to film something, whenever I would talk about this one, I would just say, oh, it's really good, I'm really enjoying it. But I feel like saying something over and over about that book is just not really entertaining to watch, so I ended up not posting any of those videos. I think last time I updated you on my reading was the end of February, when I filmed a reading wrap-up. So since then I have not read that much, and I also haven't filmed anything. So I'm gonna talk you through the books that I have read. I'm not gonna give you that many thoughts about them because most of the books I have read weren't the best. So the first book I finished in the month of March is Highly Suspicious and Fairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. I have read the Broad Sisters trilogy by Talia Hibbert, which I really enjoyed. We're following the high school students who were friends, who were childhood friends, and something happened between them and they're no longer on good terms. They both sign up for this program that they can win a scholarship, but I ended up giving this one 3 stars because although I really enjoyed the dynamics between the characters, the OCD representation, the characters which Talia Hibbert does very well, but I did not like the competition that they had to participate in. To me, it seemed pointless. This is a competition that the winner has to take will get to take a scholarship, but the competition had no. I thought this would be more into trying to survive in the wilderness or something, and I did not see the point of it, honestly. The next book I have read is Disappointments because I really thought I would really love this book. Okay, the lighting is really bad, but the sun is kind of strong, and I don't really want to close the blinds and take out my ring light and everything, so you'll have to excuse this. The next book I have read is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this book because the show was coming out very soon, and I was so excited for it. I wanted to read the book first because although I have read a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid's work, I did not read Daisy Jones and the Six, and I made this mistake of picking this book up as an ebook, and it was so boring to get through. I did not like the characters. Daisy was annoying, the Six were annoying, none of the characters were really likable, which I think is a choice that the author made, but I did not enjoy reading about these people. I did not care about their problems and everything else. I ended up giving this book 3 stars. The show was even worse. I couldn't even finish it. I only watched 2 episodes. I understand that a lot of people love this book, but it's just not for me. I'm actually really disappointed because I was looking forward to this book so much and I really thought I'm gonna love it. The next one I have read is a non-fiction, which is I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, and I was bored. I understand that it's a memoir, but I was very bored and I have nothing to say about this book other than I just finished it because I was forcing myself to finish it. The next book I have read is a book that I really did like, which is the third 5-star read of this year, and that is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessica Santo, which I really thought I was gonna love it because I love everything this author writes. This is a cozy mystery about an older woman who lives on her own above her tea shop. No one really comes to her tea shop, but she has this strict routine that she wakes up every day at the exact same time. She goes for a walk, she opens her shop, and she waits for customers. She has only one customer who is a regular customer, and he's the only person that goes to her shop the entire day. One day she opens her shop and she finds a dead body in her shop. She thinks she's being helpful, so she does the things that she sees in the detective TV shows. She lines the body with a marker and she sweeps things up because she thinks that when the police come they will think she's dirty if her store isn't very well tidy, and she tries in her mind it's murder. but the police are trying to investigate. Maybe something else happened, and she makes up a list of suspects. It's basically a fun family, but at the same time, it's murder. With everything that Jessica Santo writes, there's always a murder, even though the story is really sweet. I highly recommend this book, and Vera Wong is such an amazing character. The next one I have read is something I tried to read, which I know is my usual genre, but I tried it anyway, and that is Devotions by Mary Oliver. This is a poetry collection. I don't really read poetry as much, actually don't read it at all, and whenever I try it, I never understand it. I mean, there were some poems that I really liked, there were some that I didn't understand, there were some that I just didn't care for, so I did not read this book because I feel like I'm not someone who reads poetry regularly, so I don't really understand it to give it a rating. The next one I have read is a graphic novel, which is Demon in the Wood by Lee Bardugo. This is a prequel to the the Grishaverse trilogy. We see the Darkling's life after he became the Darkling. No, before he became the Darkling. We see his life with his mother. It's a really short story. The illustration was really good. The next one I have read is a manga. I'm not sure if it's called a manga or a graphic novel. I read Killing Stalking by Kugi, the first deluxe edition. This is a horror story. I have seen some people shove this as romance, which to that I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, how do you see this as romance? We're following our main character, which I forgot his name. We're following him as he just finished his military training, which in South Korea they have to do at a certain age. In the military, he was the skinniest and the smallest guy, so he was picked on a lot. And one day he had this issue with some other guys, and there's this guy who's called Sang-woo. He came and he rescued him from those guys, and since then our main character was obsessed with this guy called Sang-woo. Even after he finished the military, he kept following him everywhere he went, and he even figured out the password to his house, and he was obsessed with him, he was stalking him, which is where this killing stalking comes from. The story starts with him going to, after he stalked him and he knew the password to his house, he entered his house and he was looking around, and then he heard muffled noises. He went downstairs, he found a tied up woman, and she had a lot of bruises all over her body. Sang-woo came and hit our main character. He broke his legs, he killed that woman, and that's where killing comes from. I mean, I don't even know how to describe this book, but it's a very toxic relationship. Basically, our main character is so desperate for Sang-woo to love him that he would allow everything to happen. And I mean, it's just so strange. There's a lot of torture, there's a lot of killing, there's a lot of dismemberment, and I see some people call this as romance. I couldn't even finish the second book because it was so dark. I gave up on this series, not because it wasn't good, but it was just so dark for me, and I highly recommend it for what it is, which is a horror, not a romance. It's a very dark horror. That's what it is. The next one I have read is the book that made me stop filming and posting, and that is The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I love this book so much, as you can see by the amount of post-its I have. We're following our main character Mishkin, who is the idiot. I had just arrived from Switzerland back into Russia. When I finished this book, I had to watch a lot of analysis videos to understand what's going on. Also, I forgot the names of most of these people, even though I have only finished it last month, which this book basically took me 6 months to read. I really love this book. I gave it 4 stars. I really want to read more from this author. This is my second book by this author right now. Fyodor Dostoevsky mirrored so much of this book on himself, because our main character Mishkin has epilepsy, and Fyodor Dostoevsky was also suffering from epilepsy as well. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. Even though it took me so long to read, it was definitely worth it. The next book I'm going to mention are books I've already made a reading vlog, so you see my thoughts in depth in that video that will out after this one. The next one I have read is Ariadne, which is a reread. This was one of my favorite books last year, and I have reread it this year again, and it's still so good. This is a story about Ariadne, who is the daughter of Minos, king in Greece. This king in Greece. Her brother is the Minotaur. Every year there are 14 children from Athens are taken to Crete to basically get eaten by the Minotaur. One day Theseus arrives, who is the prince of Athens. She and her sister help him to kill the Minotaur, who is Ariadne's brother, and to kill the Minotaur. And then Theseus ends up abandoning her in an island alone while telling people that she died. This might be a spoiler, I think, but this happens really in the first chapter or something, so it's not really a spoiler. This is also character driven. It's not really so much about the plot. The next book I have read is a book that I have been really anticipating coming out, and that is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I ended up giving this book 5 stars. This is a second chance romance where we're basically following this couple who has been together for a few years, and they have broken up, but they are acting like they are together because they don't want to ruin their friend's last trip together, so they're pretending that they are together. So it's kind of like a second chance romance, but also fake dating, and I really enjoyed this book. My in-depth thoughts are in the next video that you're going to see after this one. The next one I have read, which is also in that video, is Several People Are Typing by Calvin Kasulke. This is a really strange short book. It's sold through Slack messages, and Slackbot is also a really important character in this story. I don't really know how to describe this book other than we just seen coworkers speaking through Slack, and then it just gets weirder and weirder, and I enjoyed it so much. I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. The next one I have read is Wheat Spread by Ian Reid. The story follows an older woman. We don't know how old she is. We're not told how old she is, but every time our main character, she keeps mentioning that she is so old, and after a few incidents that she had in her apartment, her caretaker decides to take her to an elderly home, and so in there, Ian Reid basically discusses the horrors and the loneliness of growing old, and not the horrors of growing old, but like the horrors of having your entire life controlled by your caregiver. And especially in this case, our main character isn't really able to trust her own thoughts and her own mind, so she doesn't really know if she can trust her mind or trust her caregivers and which one is correct. I ended up giving this 4 stars as well. The next one I have read this one isn't part of the vlog. This one I just finished yesterday. This one I have read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This is a romance novel again. This is probably the best romance novel I have ever read. I really loved it so much. Usually romance novels are very tropey. There's always friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, second chance romance. This one, I don't think it has any trope. It's just strangers to lovers. Our main character is a doctor. She comes from a long line of doctors. It's basically their legacy. Everyone in her family is a doctor, and they have been working in the exact same hospital for years. So our main character is just going through a breakup with her current boyfriend, who's also a doctor. He's a surgeon, but her family aren't taking it very well because they really like her ex-boyfriend, because he fit their idea of a boyfriend. One day she gets her car stuck in mud, and she gets her car pulled by this guy who is from a small town, and he is the complete opposite of her. He's 10 years younger than her. He is not like the ideal, what she imagines is the ideal boyfriend or ideal partner for her. He doesn't have like a college education. He doesn't have like a traditional job, as in like a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that. So the chemistry of these characters is so well done. Also, the third act breakup totally makes sense, because sometimes in romance novels the third act breakup is just there to be there without really belonging there. So I highly recommend this romance novel as well. And I'm currently reading the second book in this series, I think, although I think they're more of companion novels. Let me know if you have read any of these books that I have mentioned. and I'm looking forward to going back to filming content and reading more. And if you have made it this far into the end, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.